Hey there everybody, welcome back to Revit Essentials. Today we're going to be doing rooms, room tags, and room separator lines. So for this we're going to work off of our previous example, and I'm just going to add some extra walls in, start dividing off the space, so we can get an idea of how to work with Revit on a more intimate level. So now under the Architecture tab, we can go over and select Rooms, Room Separator, or Tag Room. So let's go through each of them. When we click on room, when we move the mouse over a room, what winds up happening is this blue line appears, and then this X appears, delineating the room. Now if we click on one of the rooms, you'll see that it fills it in with a color and puts a little 1 in there. So we'll go ahead and fill in all of the different rooms. Now if we try to click on a room that already has been marked out as a room, we're going to get this error. It's basically just telling us that we have multiple rooms in the same enclosure, which isn't allowed. So you can either delete the room, you can hit OK, or you can cancel out and it goes back to where it was before. So now if you escape out of the room command, you can actually go in and double-click in the writing area and give the room your own name. So let's go ahead and name these rooms different things. We'll do a living room, a bedroom. We'll make the little room off to the side there, the foyer. And let's go ahead and make the remaining little room, let's make it another bedroom. You can also change the numbers to whatever you want, but just be aware that no two rooms can have the same number. If you try that, you'll get an error similar to when we tried to put two rooms in the same enclosure. So that is just the general process for how to create room tags and delineate rooms themselves. Now if you go ahead and click on tag room, that will just re-tag a room with the tag that you already have put in it. Now if we go through and change the initial tag, let's say we want to rename the living room to living space, then it will change both the original tag and the new one that we just put in there. Again, this just helps coordinate and keep all your different pieces together while you're creating a project. Alright, and the last thing we're going to talk about are the room separator lines. Before we do that, though, I want to point out a huge thing about Revit that I really love in comparison to AutoCAD. Is if you click on your room, and then go click on Room Tag under the Properties window, this dialog box pops up. Now you can see one is already checked, Show Room Number, but we can also check Show Area. If you check that box and hit Apply, now on your floor plan you can see the area of all these different spaces. So you no longer have to manually calculate the square footage of any given space. Additionally, if you change the dimensions of your design, it will automatically recalculate the square footage for you. So here we're at 2,463 square feet for this room, and when we move it in, it becomes 1,834. So we don't need to go through and lay out a bunch of new polylines every time something changes, create a new schedule. Revit automatically puts these different rooms in a schedule, so we don't have to worry about keeping track of every last detail of our entire project. Now, a question I'll get often is, what if an entire enclosure isn't just one room? What if, say, that little offshoot in the bottom of the living space is a kitchen area? You know, a lot of times there are spaces that don't have a wall, but are conceptually different from the room to which they're attached. So in this case, we'll use the separator line. So we'll go ahead and click on separator line, and we'll just run a line from one end to the next to create that room. Notice that your square footage just dropped. So our living space is now demarcated by that red line, and we can go ahead and click room and then create that kitchen area. Alright, we'll go ahead and type in kitchen here, and now we have created our separate room. Note that you can hide and unhide these elements too, but we'll talk about that later. Alright, now let's say that we are going to include some closet space in the bedroom, let's say. Well, we'll do the same thing that we did before. We'll go ahead and create some walls and mark off an enclosed area. So once we've built the walls, we'll go ahead and add, let's say, 2 double doors. But you'll notice that the closet space is not included in the bedroom space. So in this case, even though it's a separate enclosure, we want to include the closet as a part of the bedroom. So what we'll do is we'll click on one of the walls of the closet, and we'll go over to the Properties tab, and you'll see a check mark that says Room Bounding. If we uncheck that box, you'll see the square footage of the bedroom goes back up. If we go ahead and do the same thing with the other wall that makes up the closet, it'll add that extra little space from the wall and give us our proper square footage for the bedroom. So you have the freedom to choose which walls are included in the square footage of a room through this room bounding option. So, and like I said, if you want to hide some of these elements, like the invisible line for the kitchen, we can do that, but we're going to go over that in a later video. So, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next lesson.